Hello, and welcome to Live Life and Keep on Living. Today, I want to talk about just life. I want to talk about when you get overwhelmed because things aren't going your way. Maybe you've been waiting for something to come through, and for some reason it still hasn't come through, and you've done everything that you can do. You tried all that you can try. You cried all you can cry. You may have prayed. You may have read your Bible. You may whatever it is that you had to do. You may have fasted. You may have sought God. You may have tried to get in God's presence and gone different places, and that would activate your faith and try to have all this trust and this faith and do all this and doing all that, and then you just reach this place and you're like, oh my God, like why ain't I seeing no change? Why is this going on? Why is that going on? And all these things are up against you, and you're trying to figure it out. Well, sometimes it's just a season. Y'all, it's just a season. And yes, sometimes it's just spiritual warfare. Sometimes because God is trying to take you to another place in Him. Maybe you gotta fight. Maybe you gotta go through these battles to get to where you gotta go. Maybe you might have to cry sometimes. Maybe you might have to scream and argue and fuss and fight, and whatever you're going through right now, whatever it is that is causing you to feel some type of way, just know that in the end you still win. Y'all, you still win. I mean, yeah, you may have your hard times. Yeah, things may not seem right now. Yeah, you may be wrecking your brain trying to figure out, what can I do? What ain't I doing? What haven't I done? What have I done? Why is all these things coming upon me? Woe is me, woe is me. Well, you gotta move past all the woe is me's and start thanking God for what you see. Thank God for what you don't see. Thank God for what you see in the spirit. Thank God for what you know that He's going to do in your life. Thank God anyways. Hallelujah anyways. As they used to say, tell God, no matter what's going on in your life, you sometimes you just gotta say hallelujah anyway. So sometimes you just gotta be thankful anyway, even if it don't look right, even if it don't look great, even if you can't see what's on the other side, where you're going, what's about to happen, why this ain't happening, why things aren't going your way, why. You may have a lot of whys. You may have a lot of question marks on what. You may be trying to figure out how am I going to do this? How I'm going to make it? How? And I got all this going on, but how? At some point in your life, you just had to just say, well, Lord, I put it all in your hands. I'm tired of trying to figure it out. I don't want to figure it out. I don't want to figure it out. I don't want to worry about this thing. I don't want to visualize how things will be or what, unless you give me a vision, I'm just leaving it in your hands. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to stress about it. Whatever may be coming against you, and you might be feel like you have to fight. Well, pray about it. Sometimes even if you've been biting your tongue, even if you haven't spoken for a minute. Sometimes you just really got to go deep in prayer. Sometimes you got to stay in the spirit. Honestly, that's really the key, is to stay in the spirit. Because the word says if we stay in the spirit, we won't fulfill the lust of the flesh. So here it is, when you battling, when things are coming against you, when things aren't going your way, sometimes, we have our days. I'm going to tell you right now, personally, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, I have my days. And I'll be the first one to tell you. As a matter of fact, I'll be the first to admit when I'm wrong. A lot of times. Sometimes, I say I'm wrong so much. I get to a place where I'm like, you know what? You need to admit that you wrong this time. This time, buddy, you the one. This time it was you. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I just don't complain. Sometimes I be holding things in it. And that's not good for us either, because eventually you explode. And I'm telling y'all, you will just blah, 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 blah. Before you know it, you fighting and arguing with everybody. You're trying to figure out why. Why don't nobody understand? Why? Because, at the end of the day, you have to learn that you're responsible for you and they're responsible for them. They may not want other people to do them the way that they may be treating you, but you're not responsible for that. That's not your responsibility. They say you teach people how to treat you, but you don't have to stick around and wait for them to get it together. It's a choice. And if you choose to, you don't even have to be in that person's space to do that. Sometimes you just gotta get out the way and let God do his job. This is it. And maybe God might be working on these people, and you don't even recognize it, because by the time God start working on them that you know of, by the time he done turned their hearts around and now they ready for whatever, you done got tired. Now you just ready to just go off on everybody, whatever. I'm just saying, sometimes, especially now in this hour and this time, where God is elevating people. I'm hearing God's giving out mantles. God is doing this, God is doing that. And to know that God is busy, and knowing that God is he's about his business, and he wants you to be about his business. All warfare is coming your way, buddy. It's coming. And you find yourself fighting, physically. You may even have to fight physically, however, but just know that the best fight is with the word of God. And that's what I'm recognizing. Like, the best fight is in prayer, because some of these folks, it's not them, it's the spirit that's on them. And they may not recognize they got a spirit on them, but thank God, he may highlighted it on you, and you now see, this is that spirit. And maybe you might find out you got a spirit on you, or maybe because you've allowed things to go on so long. When you finally stand up for yourself, other people are offended by it, because you never talk to them that way. And so they're trying to figure out what has gotten into you. What's gotten into that person is they tired, y'all. They just tired. They done been through, they done played this nice role, and and that may be that person, but eventually people get tired. They get tired of people taking advantage of them. They get tired of carrying all the load. They get tired of people bashing them or making them look like they the ones that's doing this and doing that. And really, it's like, nah, it's just, you don't know what people have gone through before you. You don't know. You don't know what they've been carrying. You don't know. You don't know what they gone through with this person, the reason why, they got into this place. And that's the main thing. That's what I really, really want to talk about here is don't let yourself get to that place to where you no longer have that control. Don't allow yourself to get to this place where, now you're having like explosive behavior. Now, it seems like you just fighting with everybody because they don't understand, because you done took so much. Don't let yourself go there. Don't let yourself get there. Go ahead and nip it in the bud. There's people, that's all they do is speak their minds. And it's a good thing that they do that. Sometimes, and it's a time and a place, but when they're known for it, they don't have to excuse themselves. When they're known for it, they don't have to feel bad about doing it, because it's them. That's what they do. So when you sit there and talk about, well, this person did this and that. Oh, well, that's just that. Girl, that's just them. Or, boy, you know how he is, man. That's just them. And so, versus, I don't know what's wrong with them. I don't know what's up with them. I don't know why they got an attitude. I don't know. Maybe it ain't no attitude. Maybe they just frustrated. Maybe they got a whole lot. If you see a person and they kind of acting outside of themselves, you got something ought to ring into your spirit and say they got a whole lot going on. And maybe they ain't talking about everything that they got going on, but it's got to be a whole lot going on for that person to be out acting outside of themselves. Or maybe they just got this boldness, finally, they're standing up for themselves. And the people that they stand up to themselves against are so used to them just allowing them to just say or do anything to them that when they finally do stand up, they get offended, instead of being like, you know what, I'm glad you finally got yourself together and was able to just go ahead and tell her how you feel. Tell her like you feel it. Finally, you standing up for yourself. Finally, you're not allowing people to run over you. Finally, you're not allowing people to tell their side of the story without you putting it out there about what you've been dealing with that person. Finally, you brought that person to the light and said, hey, this is how you've been treating me and I don't like it. Finally, but instead you don't hear finally. You hear you was wrong for that. That was wrong. And it ain't about what you say, it's how you say it. It ain't about what you did, it's how you did it. Oh, well, why is it that when they do it, it's okay? I'm just supposed to continue to suck that up, right? Oh, well, when they come and they try to take advantage of me, I'm just supposed to suck that up and let them do that, right? No, because guess what? You ain't gonna like it. You don't like nobody mistreating you. You don't like nobody taking advantage of you. You don't like nobody talking to you any kind of way. You stand up for yourself. So when this person finally get a little bit more tougher skin, you can't make that person feel bad for standing up for themselves. Forget it. So what? But how they went about doing it. Maybe this is the first time they've ever done it. Maybe it's the first time in a long time they stood up for themselves. I don't know. But just know that everybody gets to a place where they tired. Especially when they continue to go through the same thing over and over and over again. So be understanding. Think about it and say, oh, well, wait a minute. They must be really going through something. They must really, really, truly be going through something and feeling some type of way for them to be in that place in their mind. Like, because that ain't them. That ain't them. You know, I've even heard someone say, well, that's me. I always be like that. That ain't nothing different. But we talking about you right now. Well, hold up. Hold up. Because there's a law of attraction that says that with every action, there's a reaction. So remember that. Eventually, you gonna get a reaction. Even if it was the sweetest person, they could be a nun, okay? Even if it's the sweetest person in the world, eventually they'll get tired. And you can't get upset at them for being tired, because that's just where they're at. You know, you keep pricking at something, eventually you gonna get bit, okay? Take a little stick and just keep poking at a lion and see if you won't get ate, okay? Or a bear. You know, some people, just because a person is quiet, just because a person ain't argumentative and stuff like that, don't mean that they ain't strong. Don't mean that, you know, they ain't got a fight in them, because guess what? They do. They really do. And if you keep pricking at them, eventually you're going to have your hand bit off. You know, eventually they're going to tell you really how they feel. And what you have to do with that is take that information. Don't hold it against them, but learn how to treat them with that. You don't hold it against them. You learn from it. And you think about yourself. Think about what they're telling you about yourself. And then take that information and grow from it. You need to grow from it. Because a lot of times, especially if you got somebody that's unselfish, I'm going to tell you about people that aren't selfish. People that aren't selfish always look out for everybody else. Always think about other people. Always try to do the right thing. And when they look up and they see nobody, it don't seem like nobody looking out for them. It don't seem like nobody cares about how they treat them. You know, eventually they start like demanding their respect. They start standing up for themselves. I did it now. Because they can't continue to be ran over. You can't keep running over people that, you know, have a good heart. I'm going to put it like that. You can't keep doing that to folks, because eventually you're going to either change them, or maybe they'll change you, or eventually they're going to just tell you about yourself. Enough is enough. This is how I feel about you. This is how I feel about this. I need you to step up. I need you to be that person. I need you to watch how you treat me. You know what I mean? And like I said, when that happens, you can't be mad at them. You know, if anything, you should be like, man, I know that took a lot out of that person for them to have to say that to me. I know that person really, really, really must have been going through. Like, because you don't know what it took to get them there. You don't know what's going on in that person's life. Sometimes before that person goes to that extreme, they give warning. over and over again. I know, like even like with relationships, like some people at first they didn't expect that woman or that man to finally leave them, and they be trying to figure out like, why did that person leave me? And when they think about it, really think about it, some will say, you warned me. You did. You gave me all the chances in the world. You gave me more chances than what I would have ever given you. And so I can't be mad at nobody but myself. Some people will know that and still act like it was all your fault. And they'll go on to the next relationship and make the same mistakes, and then that person learns after they done talked about that other person and said all these things about that other person. And once they learn, so it was you all along, you was really the problem, sir. It's just that sometimes someone will come along and have a little bit more patience. So they might hang in there a little longer. And then somebody else might come along and they might stay a little longer than they. So it's just, you just have to just be okay with that. Be okay with people telling you how they feel, whether you like it or not. You got to be okay with them standing up for themselves. You got to be okay. And to that person that's, bearing so much, especially right now in this season, like you have people that have lost loved ones and they're going through. But, the word, it clearly says this too shall pass. You might be going through a rough patch right now, but this too is gonna pass. Don't worry. It's just a season. This is just, some people have gone through a dry season where they, their income has been funny. Things have been just, like nothing's producing fruit. They done sown a lot of seeds. They done did a lot of things, and they don't see nothing. Nothing is coming up from the ground. There's nothing springing up, and you may be feeling like giving up. You may be feeling like, you know what, this is just too much for me. I just can't handle it. Let me tell you right now, this too shall pass. Don't worry. That season of dryness is about to come to an end. It's about to come to an end. Not too long from now, you're going to think about it, about what you went through. Maybe, you might see somebody else go through it and might be willing to help that person. Might be, but it rather is by deeds or by words, maybe you might encourage that person, but maybe you might put a little something in that person's hand because you know what you went through. Okay? So, and just remember that obedience is greater than sacrifice. So if God tell you to help that person, help them. And sometimes you shouldn't even need nobody to tell you. If you got it, you should be able to do it. And sometimes people get that misconstrued and they think that person got it, and they don't. That one that always got it, that one that always is good, sometimes they may not be good that time. Sometimes people go through something and the other folks don't recognize they going through it because they done went through everything else so well. Nobody ever heard that person begging. And nobody ever heard that person asking nobody for nothing. So they just automatically assume. But don't automatically assume, because sometimes they don't either know how to go to anybody for help, and sometimes their pride just might be a little bit too much, or sometimes they just don't want to burden you with their problems. Some people don't like to put their burdens on other people. I'm one of them people. I don't like burdening other folks with what I got going on. So if I act a certain type of way, some stuff done really got to me. And I'm really like, all right, I done had it. Like, hey, you about to get the business today. I'm about to tell you exactly how I feel. Or, maybe it ain't. I'm about to tell you how I feel. Maybe it's just, this got to come out, because I can't keep holding this in. You just got to recognize, like, here it is. If I know some things about what's going on in your life, and I know that you trying to get some things together, and I know that you got a lot going on, 9 times out of 10, I ain't going to ask you for anything, because I know you got a lot on your plate already. And I don't want to add to that. I don't want to add to it, because that's called considering yourself. That's called being considerate. And, like, you'd be surprised the people that will take advantage of other folks' kindness. Folks be using, your kindness for weakness. They will. You look up and you agree to one thing, and that person will take it to a whole nother level. I remember, like, taking someone out to eat, and we went somewhere really nice, and before I knew it, like, they done ordered the most expensive thing on the menu, and all the, just like everything, like, and they knowingly knew I had some things going on that I had to do for me and mine, but they still did what they did, and didn't feel bad about it, even though, they wouldn't have liked it. And so, like, you gotta consider yourself. If I know I ain't gonna like somebody doing me some type of way, I ain't gonna do it to them. If I got it, they gotta know they gonna be taken care of. But when I don't have it, shoot, it's like, you can't get blood out of a turnip, baby. You can't. I don't care what you do. That turnip ain't gonna produce blood. So you can't put all these heavy expectations on other folks when you don't do it. You don't like it yourself. When you don't do these things yourself. Some people want, but they don't give. You know what I'm saying? Like, they receive, they take, but you don't see them giving much. And you be saying, well, wait a minute. Why you ain't? You gonna take, but where the giving at, sir? Ma'am? You gotta give to take. You know what I mean? If somebody's generous with you, you should be generous to them. If somebody looking out for you, why you ain't looking out for them? So, I was just saying today that just be kind to folks. People going through a lot, especially in this season. And so be understanding. Be patient with folks. Because people who are patient with you, you give out, there's some things you give out too, you know what I'm saying, that are negative as well. You know, you're not shooting out rainbows and stars all the time. You're not. It's just not. It's not always. You're not always the kindest person. You're not always the easiest person to deal with. You're not always. You know, and maybe you might be one of them people that are difficult, really, to deal with. And so, if you around somebody that is patient with you, is loving with you, treats you right, learn how to treat them. And that's all I got to say today. Tune in for the next Living Life and Keep on Living. Until next time, God bless.